Here's Cairo Santos now ready to get this one started. And off we go from M&T Bank Stadium.
Let's get things moving, spin. Come on.
And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Here comes the Ravens on offense, and the man in charge from Louisville, the former MVP, Lamar Jackson.
Early part of his career, defense has really had to focus on his running ability, and they still do. But now, he's turned himself into a true dual-threat quarterback. When he plants his cleats in the ground and turns it loose, good things happen downfield.
And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
We'll have to see what kind of looks this defense is going to throw at him as this game moves along, but they're in the zone to start. I do think we'll see plenty of man coverage as we move along, but the first throw of this one, incomplete.
Jackson. A short one there, caught by Likely. And they're able to get this one across the 30.
What's going on, John? All right, I can get myself set up here. Let me start off by getting this open, so I gotta make sure I can see the chat. Right, the live is here. Let me extend this so I can see the chat. Oh man, I gotta set up a bunch. Oh no. Ah.
On that one. That's good.
I wait for some things to load.
This was a nice example.
Let's run this real quick.
Scheming his guy open, just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space.
Cut back, spin move. No, spin to the left, not to the right.
To pick up really
I
nice
need to left the spin move.
2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down.
This is very easy. If the blocking's there, Let's actually get things set up before we can continue here. God, I need to get to my. Oh man. No. Good Lord, everything's a mess. I ain't been here since Sunday. It's a mess trying to get the early setups here. Oh my God. No. Are you for real right now? There's no way you're saying this, man. This is ridiculous. Oh my God, please. Come on, man. Really? Really? How am I signed out of everything? How am I literally signed out of everything? Like, come on, man. Yes. Ugh. And the network's acting up. And things are going slow. Oh, we are not going to be here for long today. Oh, Keem's got a new game that he's playing. I'll definitely check that out later. But we got a little work to do, a little conversation to have here. Oh, actually, I'm gonna change. I just realized something, you know? Yeah, I just realized this. Ooh. Let me actually switch this up. Excuse me, guys. There's, let me, couldn't get everything. Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. That's what I want you to do. There we go. Yeah, something's wrong everywhere. Everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. Oh, I'm seeing it. I got it up here. I'm watching this. That man was training. That man was in the hyperbolic time chamber. He was training. Man had a whole training montage. Man spent the time skip perfectly. He spent that time perfectly. Ain't stopping this dude. He's unleashed, bro. This is what his training was about. Over there training with Shaolin monks. This man was ready for this. It's over for the league. I need y'all to understand. It is over for the league. Like, it's not even going to be fair anymore. Like, Wemby's just taking over. It's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. It ain't even going to be close. It ain't even going to be close in any iteration, man. You got Wemby out here, murking, everything moving. That man had like a reverse, like a spin move, reverse foul, and it was disgusting. Listen, he's out here giving the belt. He's out here giving the belt. That's all I gotta say. He's out here giving the belt. And I fear for the league. I honestly fear for the league. Like, the dude spent his time perfectly. He did a whole training montage. And it's over for everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed the league the way it was. You know, Jokic is the best player in the game, but I promise you, it will not take that long before Wemby is seen as the best player in the game. It will not take that long, not even close. Man, I got too many tabs open. I gotta get rid of all of these tabs. All right, we got a job to do. My goodness. Someone please stop the murder. Man's got 27-9. This dude's going for 40 today. Like, dog, it's not even going to be fun. All right, everybody. We're slowly working our way through. What's going on, everybody? Trying to ease you guys in, obviously. Got a whole right side that I can take advantage of. That gives more space for Peyton on this outside. I mean, I know exactly where I'm going with this. I just need to get some time.
To throw is Jackson.
Where's the protection?
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
Way to go.
That sack by Tremaine Edmonds.
Way to go, everybody. Way to go.
The defense is always talking about not letting Lamar Jackson get comfortable. A good job there on his opening drive of making him uncomfortable.
And you're talking about doing it so early in the game because all week long, there's been anxiety on the defensive side of the ball. How do we keep this guy hemmed in? How do we tackle him? To get it done early, that's got to feel great for them.
All right.
Out to midfield. Let's say, yeah, they'll spot it right.
Hey, congratulations, Sam. Congratulations, man.
Pick up of 8 on the screen, and it sets up a third down. They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down.
Well, Sam getting up there and they could do that.
From midfield now, here's Jackson. A short throw.
All right. So how's everybody doing? Oh, I'm not playing online. I'm not playing online. 12
yards to pick up.
My whole system has been down. Like, my whole computer's been down. I had to do a bunch of resets and stuff, so I'm not even online right now.
Play action. It's Jackson.
I think that one-on-one baby can work. I think that one-on-one. Oh, he's open, too. What type of throw?
Spotted man coverage on the outside.
Madden,
I expect we'll see a lot
like,
of that
guys need to be open. Madden's just like, nope, throw it over the top. Nope. Defender's lagging back by 5 yards. Oh, yeah, he's totally going to get this.
Deep here for Flowers. That's going to be knocked away.
How you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Let me tell you right now, today was one of the most stressful days of the season. Clearly the most stressful day of the season, but also the most relieved day of the season. So many people were talking about how Lamar better be playing, man. Lamar better be at practice today. Lamar better be there. We get that report. If Lamar's not on the practice field, it's going to be a whole thing. People were ready to say, like, people were legit ready to riot. It was going to be real nasty on Twitter. But we'll get into that very, very soon. For now, we are just sitting here and having the early enjoyments because, yes, I did tell you, and I got it at the end here. This should have been out yesterday, but yesterday was the first day of the NBA season, and I was caught up with the Thunder and the Rockets, which took 12,000 years to finish, by the way. The Thunder the Rocket went on late because it went into double overtime. Shout out to the defending champions for winning, winning that game. It went into double overtime. It was an amazing game. Şengün looks like he's ready to have a great year for the Rockets, and SGA is still SGA. So, that's cool. Man, Josh, why you have to do this? Why you gotta do this to me? Why you gotta do this? Why you gotta do this to me? Okay. Why you gotta do this?
Tucker now to kick it
You
away.
don't think I know?
Touchdown.
You don't think I know that Bam went out there and finished with 15? I watched my team play, and I can already tell from the first game that we're going to be a playing team. I don't even have to see the rest of the year. I already know the Miami Heat are going to be a playing team this year. I am not going to sit back and lose my temper. It ain't even none this way. Okay, we're gonna be a playing team again. I don't need to hear nothing about, well, you didn't have Tyler Hero. No. The team's problem isn't offense. The issue is defensive. Okay, number one, our defense sucks. We can't defend anything. We can't guard anything. We can't stay in front of anything. So that's the first problem we find ourselves. The second problem we find ourselves is the fact that we keep turning the ball over 20 times. 17 turnovers tonight. That is unacceptable. You cannot turn the ball over so many damn times. That's a problem. Third issue, I don't know what. I said it earlier. Yeah, Eric Spoelstra might be getting old. He might have lost his touch. Because I don't know what the hell type of coaching decision was that. Buddy sat back and said, you know what we should do? We're going up against the Magic that have they've got a lot of freaking tall players there. We're in the fourth quarter. We're trying to slowly hold on to this lead, which is disappearing by the second, specifically because, we can't rebound. And instead of playing our 7-foot center, or at least our 7-foot power forward, however you want, because they like to put Bam at the center position, instead of playing the only 7-footer we have on the team in freaking Kel'el Ware, Eric Spoelstra's like, nah, I'm going to keep Jaime Hawkins. That's the move. We're getting out rebound in the fourth quarter. We're blowing the lead. We're turning the ball over. I mean, we're doing everything. And then we lose the game the way we've been losing games for the last several years. So, I mean, it's basically going to be another year of Miami fighting for a playing spot, and I've already prepared for it. These are terrible decisions. So I'm not even concerned. I'm not even pissed. I'm already ready for the playing spot that the Miami Heat are going to firmly take. And I'm ready for that first round blowout, where it's going to be to the Cavs again, or to the Knicks, or whoever gets the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. I'm just ready for it. It is what it is. I'm not even going to fight it. That's just how it's going to be. Man, how you guys doing today? Everybody doing well? Yeah, can't get to him. Can't get to him. This defense is soft as tissue paper. I don't even know what we were doing. I'm going to start blitzing. I tried to play zone here. Getting all kind of well. I'm about to send some blitzes. Let's see if we can get that. If that don't work, I got to play some. That was way too easy. That was way too easy. But hopefully everybody's doing okay. Honestly, today is a weird time to have this. Obviously, we are heading into week 8. Thursday Night Football will be occurring tomorrow, of course. We are actually heading into week 8. So, yes, it is a weird time to have a therapy session. Honestly, we could have had this out Monday or Tuesday. You know me sometimes. That's just all I can say. You know me sometimes. Just things happen, and all of a sudden, bam, I'm not able to do it.
Do you maybe mix it up, now go to the ground game and surprise the defense a little bit?
I would anticipate the defense making some changes.
So yeah, this is going to be a quote-unquote therapy section, but in all honesty, it's going to be good therapy. Like I said last week, we were going to be doing a week 7 therapy session. Obviously, it was going to be a situation where we didn't play, so it's not like there was anything for us to really speak about.
Now it's Jackson.
But we were still going to do a therapy session anyway because we have to cover everything every single week. And boy, this was a perfect time to get the therapy session. I'm actually happy that I chose, I'm actually happy that it worked out this way with me doing the therapy session today. It works out this way because at the end of the day, you get great news back. You get the best possible news we could have gotten so far this season. Given the circumstances, given the situation we find ourselves in, it's the very best news we could have gotten. And it was desperately needed. So, honestly, I think today's more of a chill day. I don't need to really spend time trying to warm everybody up here for the most part because it's just like everyone's in the bye week. No one's really concerned about anything specifically, you know. It is what it is. Yeah, the Clippers do stink. I'm not surprised. I keep trying to tell people you're not buying into the Clippers. It is a waste of time and energy. The Clippers will find a way to disappoint you every single time. What the hell is this?
And hope you connect downfield. On that play, they were unsuccessful.
Let's see what Andrews can do here.
Off the play fake. Here's Jackson.
Come on to the outside. There's no way.
This is going to be
oh my God.
Andrews. And so close. He gets it to the one. Out of bounds right there.
Gotta run this.
It's a gain of 35.
But yeah, honestly, you know, Davis Flock got great news for the most part today. And it was actually needed. So I guess we can go ahead with this therapy session as I play Madden today because I'm pretty much sure. Let's see. Week 7. What happened in week 7? Well, the Ravens didn't play. The best thing that could have happened for everybody was the Ravens didn't play. So all of us can just go on with our lives, deal with whatever we're dealing with, get good news, get bad news. Pretty much chill out without having to worry about the stress or, you know, annoyance that the Ravens can bring to us. Now, some people spent their bye week going on vacation. Others spent their bye week doing virtually nothing. I spent my bye week basically doing the same thing I always do, except not having to worry about the Ravens. So that was a good thing. But more than that, I would say I kind of just focused in on the Dodgers. You know, the NLCS, they did get the World Series. And then seeing who they were going to face off against in the World Series, and it ultimately came down to the Toronto Blue Jays, who won in Game 7. We can't make it that. So that was great and all to see. But, you know, Week 7, honestly, couldn't have been a better situation for the Ravens. Steelers right now first place in the AFC North, and they were very close to getting to 5-1. That would have been very nasty to see. But Joe Flacco showcasing that inner Raven that he still has. He just finds a way to beat the Steelers when he needs to in the biggest moments. So I appreciate Joe Flacco for doing what he does, making sure he's still providing and helping out. That's a two-way. So the Steelers lose, they drop to 4-2. It's the perfect situation you could have possibly gotten, given, you know, the fact that we're 1-5, and honestly, still starting 5-1. I mean, they have a tough schedule moving ahead, but, you know, it would just be nasty for them to be 5-1. Instead, they're 4-2 now. So, honestly, the difference between you and the Steelers is that, well, they got 3 more wins than you. They got 3 more wins than you. You're still technically undefeated in the division. So, technically, if you find a way to tie up with them, you could very well end up being first place in the division. But, you know, a lot of work has to be done in order to pull that. That's just the real situation. Why did my own defender trip me? Okay, we're not. My own defender trip me. That's disgusting. Madden, what are we doing here? But yeah, Steelers lost. Steelers lost, so that works out for you. And the AFC continues to just be wide open right now in terms of who's going to make the playoffs. So Baltimore is in not a favorable situation, but at least they're still alive in the best possible. So here's the thing that makes things interesting, which I want to make sure I check this as well. Let me use my phone here because I don't want to take some things off. Let me actually check this real quick. Here's where things can get very interesting for the Baltimore Ravens. So here we go, guys. Baltimore is coming off of their bye week at 1-4. They have to work hard to get back in. They got to work hard to get back into a favorable position, or at least work towards getting back into somewhat of a reasonable position because they haven't been. Jackson. This will go to Henry out wide. Excuse me. So yeah, they're 1-5, coming off of their bye week. But here's where things get interesting, ladies and gentlemen. The Baltimore Ravens will be taking on the Chicago Bears. Chicago. Interesting matchup. The Bears have actually won 4 straight games, so they're looking to keep that momentum up. That's a big. They're looking to keep that momentum up. Meanwhile, Baltimore is looking to get back into good position here, or get back into the winning column, let's put it like that, because they've lost 4 straight. They really lost 4 straight games. Really lost 4 straight games. We've lost 4 straight games. We have actually lost 4 straight games. I didn't really think about that. We have legitimately lost 4 straight games. Because the last game we won was week 2 against Cleveland. My God, that is actually insane to think about. So yeah, Baltimore is looking to get back into the win column. And how else do you get back into the win column if you're the Ravens than to do it with your quarterback returning? So, if you don't know, which of course everybody knows, Ravens flock as a whole was holding their breath, waiting for today's practice to happen. And there was a lot of talk about Lamar probably not participating in practice at all this week. There was a lot of talk about a lot. So, you know, today felt like one of those days that was going to be a hold your breath type situation for the fan base, because we had to wait and see if Lamar was going to practice. And lo and behold, Lamar Jackson was at practice today. And this actually becomes very
What a really nice job there by the coverage, understanding the situation. If he doesn't make a play on that ball,
excuse me for that. My apologies.
Excellent chance it ends up either as a touchdown
or
yeah, nice gain downfield.
You get Lamar
Jackson. Play action with Jackson.
You get Lamar Jackson back. And that brings hope. But guys, this is what you need to understand. If there's going to be any level of hope, we got 1 week. 1 week for there to be any aspect of hope. Let me explain to you why I'm saying there's 1 week to get back any level of hope. It's very simple. Baltimore plays Chicago this week. If the Ravens win, if they win, they can go to 2-5. But guess what? Baltimore is playing on a short week. They have to travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. So, if you're getting Lamar back, and you actually handle business with Lamar being back, this is the situation. Lamar comes back. He plays. He wins. You get the win against the Bears. You play on a short week. You take on the Miami Dolphins, who has also been just as bad, if not worse, than you've been.
That's 3 touchdowns.
You take on the Dolphins. You find a way to win that game against the Dolphins. Baltimore, within the span of a week, can go from 1-5 to 3-5. And that sets you up for a chance to try to get back in this season. Because if you can go from 1-5 to 3-5, you'll be in an interesting position, because then you'll have 10 days off. And remember now, we're coming off of our bye week. So we're coming off of our bye week. You'll have a short week. You're coming off a bye week. You'll have 1 week to win 2 games. If you do that, then you get 10 days off. You get 10 days off.
Ready to take over again. As this offense comes back out here, Charles.
So if you win, you get 10 days off. You win these 2 games, you go to 3-5, you get 10 days off. If you can get 10 days off, that's extra rest, especially because guys are coming back from injuries. You don't want to strain themselves too much. A little bit of extra rest would definitely benefit this team as well, which is why the bye week was so important. So it would actually be pretty good to, you know, win. Oh, good job, guys. Good job, guys. Good job, guys. We can't even tackle. Could have got a sack right there. Didn't tackle. I mean, that's just perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So again, if you get Lamar Jackson. Oh, okay, just missing tackles for the 15 millionth time and off to the races. Wow. Okay, so no defense being played. I can see no defense being played. We virtually miss a sack, which is right there, and you still give up the play. I mean, it doesn't matter what play call you call. It's just not going to do the job. Right. So, yeah. We're in a position where we could win on Sunday against the Bears. If Lamar Jackson's back, we go out there, we win against the Bears. That could put you at 2-5. You're on a short week, Thursday Night Football, against the Miami Dolphins. If you can win that, that puts you at 3-5, and then you're going to get those 10 days off. That can work in your favor. So Baltimore can work towards getting back into where they need to get to if they get Lamar Jackson back to play this week, which again, he practiced this week. He was limited, but to be very honest, Lamar does not need to practice much to play. Lamar does not need much practice to play out there. He'll be a little rusty heading out there. No question he'll be a little rusty, but in all honesty, he doesn't need a lot of practice time to go out and play. He doesn't need a lot of practice time to go out and play.
They're just cutting him to shreds.
So, I'm ultimately...
A shotgun hand
I'm ultimately fine
some strong running.
With Lamar not having too much practice time here and still going out and playing on Sunday. Because I don't think Lamar needs the practice time. But
and that's why you don't just look at his birth
at the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing and one thing only. And that's the aspect that has been problematic. Lamar coming back is great. It brings a lot of energy back into the fan base. Maybe brings a lot of energy back in that locker room to have their leader back out there. So it's great to see. But the defense is still a question. And yes, they did technically play well against the Rams and held them to 17 points. So you feel like that's got to mean something. Not to mention, if it wasn't for Zay Flowers fumbling the ball twice, maybe they do a better job and actually hold them to less points. Who knows what happens? But Zay Flowers coughing the ball up in our own territory doesn't do us any favors. So those fumbles ultimately put you in a situation where it's like, okay, the defense is doing their job, but now you put them on a short field, so it's just like, I don't know what else you could do in that situation. It becomes very difficult to try to gauge what you could ultimately do. So, yeah, I mean, the defense was put in a compromising position. We already know the defense is struggling, and now you put them in a situation where they have to go out there and make a stop against this high-octane Rams offense because you turn the ball over in your own territory. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So, ultimately, I think I'm going to give a little bit of credit, though I'm still not really sold on this defense. But I got to give them a little credit for how they played against the Rams defensively because they did do their job, so I'll give them their credit. So if the defense can actually come out here and not play like trash against the Bears, we will certainly have a chance to win that. If the defense goes out there and plays like hot garbage, though, it's going to be a long game. So it comes down to those things, man. It comes down to those things. It really comes down to those things.
Derrick Henry with his second touchdown here in this first half. And the Ravens have broken the tie.
No.
Tucker with the extra point, and they will take a 7-point lead.
Boy, please don't kick me out.
Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown.
My computer literally restarts. That's the end of this. I'm not starting this again. But, yeah. Lamar Jackson being back is huge for the Ravens because, again, it brings the energy back into the fandom, but more so brings the energy back in that locker room. You just have your leader back. The leader of the franchise is back, and you have hope that you could potentially go on a run. You know, if the hope's there, if the belief is there, if the confidence is there, maybe it will match the performance on the field. I don't know. All I can do is hope that these guys can go out there and play like they got some damn sense. If they don't, well, we've already seen the results of that. You're 1-5 So, you know, it's going to come down. It's going to come down to how the defense plays. That's just how I feel about it. It's going to come down to how the defense plays. And if the defense goes out there and plays poorly, no,
To throw, it's Williams. He'll get that complete to his tight end, Kmet. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36.
When you lose that kind of yardage on a pass play, you often expect it to be a sack. But that wasn't the case there. They completed the pass. Probably would have been better off just dropping the football and making an incompletion as opposed to catching it and losing that kind of yardage.
Dude, it's cover 3, and you still let him get it. It's cover 3. How the hell do you let that happen? I'm not even covering. I'm playing the middle of the field as a safety. And the corner gets beat so bad on cover 3. We're playing cover 3. How do you give that up over the top?
Oh, we've got a tie game here and a back and forth.
Yeah, they really integrated this defense into this game. This is ridiculous. There's no way. I feel like Zach Earl right now, I guess. I'm playing all the right coverages, but these guys just can't execute. I can't play every position. I'm over here playing. I played the safety. I'm covering the middle of the field, and he says, "You know what? Let me throw over the top. Let me throw over the top."
Trots back out there and gets ready to go. They'll be looking to get in the end zone
Head
again.
coach told Ravens trying to get many of the stuff back until you go
During the
win these
break,
Super
we were
Bowl.
looking at some of the
Well,
replays from
according
the
to
previous
reports,
drive.
again,
Really good holes created,
we
great
take these
space.
reports.
I like the
However we
observation
choose
you
to
had,
take
though,
them.
during
According to
that break
reports, it
about,
wasn't
okay,
Harbaugh that
they've
did it.
gotta
It was
do something to
actually
slow
a
down
select
the
group of
runner. So,
veterans.
is it bringing
Which
in more
veterans chose to
defensive
do it?
linemen? Is
I
it
don't know.
dropping
But it
in
was a
extra
select
linebackers?
group of
What are you
veterans,
going
just
to
a
do?
few of them, that
Personally,
actively chose to
it's
take
a
that out.
safety
So they
and
took it
dropping
out,
into the
and
box.
apparently,
At least
no one,
7 in
most of
there
the
until he
veterans
shows
that
he
were
can beat
walking
you
that
through
locker
the
room
air.
didn't even
Gotta
notice
slow down the
that
running
the
game.
games and toys were out. They didn't notice any games were out. So I don't exactly know what's the point in that, because again, we get further reports that one, Harbaugh and the coaches did not take away their consoles in games. That was a decision that that few select group of veteran players did. They talked to whoever manages that stuff and says, "I want to take these games out the room." So they had those removed, and apparently the players didn't even notice that it was gone. Oh, okay.
Looking for Andrews, but this is intercepted.
I'm done.
Kyler Gordon picks it off.
So the players didn't even notice. The players didn't even notice. This is why I don't even throw across the middle. The players didn't even notice that all that stuff was gone.
Looking to throw is Williams.
So I have no clue.
Set up the screen to Swift.
So the Ravens are going to start treating its players like high school. John, again, according to the reports, it wasn't the coaches that did that. It was the veteran players. A few select group of veteran players chose to have those items removed from the locker room. The coaches had nothing to do with it. They didn't even know what was happening, and the majority of the players didn't even realize that there was anything missing from the locker room when they walked in. So it wasn't the coaches. It was the first report that said it was the coaches, and then we get a second report that says no, the coaches had nothing to do with it. They didn't even know about it. It was a few select group of veteran players that chose to do that. Again, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not in the locker room. One report can say one thing, another report can say another thing. I ultimately don't know. So, I mean, everyone's free to believe whatever they want to believe. I'm not exactly sure how this ultimately goes. So, yeah, I mean, if it was the coaches, it was the coaches. If it was the players, it was the players. Ultimately, it had zero effect. It didn't really change anything. So, I'm not exactly sure what the point of that was. But we got one report that initially said the coaches chose to take all the games and everything out of the locker room. And then we get another report that talked about, no, that was actually a few veteran players. Which veteran players? We don't know, because they never gave us a specific group of names. So one side saying it's the coaches, the other side is saying it is the veterans in that locker room. So, I mean, we got to take that however we're going to take it. I don't know who was the one that ultimately made that decision, but the decision was made. It is what it is. At the end of the day, the focus should be winning games. I don't care what they're doing in the locker room. I care about what they're doing on the football field. It just comes down to that. If they're not doing their jobs on the football field, it really don't matter what they're out there doing. I could care less if these guys are out there playing video games or not playing video games. What are you doing on the field? That's all that matters. Because I'm not going to listen to the, well, you know, they're playing these games. These games are a distraction. Those games were probably in that locker room long before anything else. So I can't automatically just assume, oh yeah, now all of a sudden, because they're losing, now it's a distraction. I'm pretty sure those things were already in the locker room last year and previous years too. It's just now that the team is freaking 1-5, something they didn't expect to see, because they're 1-5. Now all of a sudden, it's like, oh well, these toys are a distraction. The basketball hoop is a distraction. The console, the television, all that other stuff in the locker room, it's a distraction.
I believe they buzzed down. They're going to take another look at this play with all reviews coming. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10.
So I'm not too keen buying into that whole statement.
Complete to Likely. And so close, he gets it to the 1. Out of bounds right there. That goes for a gain of 31.
I think this defense was still trying to recover from that last play, so you wonder if they were ready for this one. You have to imagine their defensive coaches are yelling at them to get focused, because if they don't, more plays like that will result in giving up points.
And they'll indeed take a knee. Back at the 2 now. Here's 2nd and goal.
All right, there we go.
10th carry now for Derrick Henry. And he'll get in. Touchdown.
But yeah, I'm not concerned about what they're doing in the locker room. I'm concerned about what they're doing on the football field. I could care less if they're playing video games. They're out there performing. It's fine. They had those things in there way before, you know, they went 1-5. So I doubt that's what's going on, Matthew. So yeah, again, the reports. One report said that it was the coaches. The other report said that it was a few veteran players. So I mean, I don't know what is the true story or what is the reason, but you know, it is what it is. Did I talk about the Marlon Humphrey tweet yet? No, I have not talked about it, and I didn't actually plan to talk about it. Marlon is Marlon. I'm pretty sure a big chunk of the fan base is kind of tired of him. But at the end of the day, he's always been this way. Again, I don't care what people choose to do in their personal time. I don't care about what people choose to say on social media. I don't care. My whole focus is, as a fan, is that you have to, I watch you as a fan to see what you do on the football field. I don't care about what you're doing in your personal time. That is your business. I don't care about what you're saying on social media. Again, that is your business. Are you performing on the football field? That's the only thing that matters to me. If you are out there performing on the football field, I could care less what you're doing. And I think that's the thing that's getting people in Marlon Humphrey. It's the aspect of, well, he's not playing well. Because Marlon's always been this. Like, all of a sudden people are getting mad and annoyed by Marlon Humphrey saying this stuff. Marlon's always been this. But he was this way while he was also playing well. So when he was playing well and saying this stuff, nobody really cared because he was playing well. Hell, last year he was playing at an all-pro level. Nobody cared what he was saying on social media. Why should we care? Nobody care what he's saying on social media. He's out here doing his job, playing at an all-pro level. Should we really? Okay, yeah, don't. Should we really care about what he's doing in his personal time? That's why people was just saying it don't matter. I mean, these guys are personal lives. If they want to do their podcasts and they want to talk and do all this other stuff, they're free to do so. Nobody cared because this is ridiculous. Can somebody? Oh, he finally look at that. He fumbles the ball. We don't get it. Okay, this defense is just doing nothing. It doesn't matter what play I do. There's two people that are out of position every single time.
And sometimes we overdo it when we talk about halftime adjustments and what teams are going to do.
It's not like you're going against a good team. This team is not great.
Executing the game plan you brought in,
I have shut down Mahomes, I have shut down Allen, I've shut down everything. But literally, the defense has decided to not show.
He'll do a nice job here just to fight his way back to the line of
How do I feel about the Raiders coaching staff? Again, all right, Matthew, you are definitely new to this. We were just talking about this. There was an initial report that said the coaching staff was the ones that ultimately took it away. There was another report that came out that said that was not the coaching staff. They had no idea that that was happening. It was a few set of veterans, a few group of veteran players that chose to take that stuff out. There was a lot of things that was wrong about that. First of all, the article, not the article, but the reports that were coming out was incorrect from what the article was saying. There was reports that was initially saying that it happened after the Ravens started 1-5. After a 1-5 start, the coaches took this out of the locker room. That's incorrect. First of all, it wasn't after the Ravens went 1-5. It was after they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's an aspect that needs to be brought up. Secondly, we're getting two reports. I don't know which one is correct, so I can't make an assumption on either or. We got one report saying the coaches are the ones that took it out after they lost to the Chiefs. There's another one saying it was the veteran players. A few select group of Ravens veterans decided to go in that locker room and ask to have those things removed in order to have the team re-engage. I don't know which is which. I don't know if it's the players. I don't know if it was the coach. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know which is which. People are going to make their assumptions. If you want to choose to assume that it was the coaches, so be it. If you choose to assume it was the players, so be it. I don't care who made the decision. At the end of the day, my only focus is how was that help this team win? Because they did that after the Chiefs game, and they proceeded to get blown out. They got blown out. Absolutely blown out by the Houston Texans. So they took away all those toys, and the team responded with getting absolutely whipped. I mean, absolutely smoked by the Houston Texans. So I don't think that decision to take those toys away ultimately led to the best of circumstances or the best of solutions. Because you did that, and what did it result in? The Texans whipping us in our own house. So ultimately, I don't think you accomplished anything by doing so. All you essentially did was just take away these items, which means no one can do anything fun in the locker room, quote unquote. It don't matter. It really don't. The team is losing right now. Does it matter? Does it really matter? They had those things in when they were losing. They had those things in when they were winning. I don't think that plays a role into whether or not this team wins or loses. What plays a role is how you perform on the field. Like, taking that away or getting rid of it in the locker room isn't going to be like, all right, and now everybody's going to focus and re-engage. You took that away and you proceeded to lose horribly to the Texans. And then you lost to the Rams. So did that really help everybody lock in? Because you still lost 2 games after you took away the toys. Congrats on taking away the video game. Congratulations on taking away the ping pong, the basketball hoop. Congratulations on taking all of that away. What did that get you? 0-2 since doing it. One was a humiliating loss at home, and the other was a loss at home as well. I mean, you lost both games at home, and you got blown out in both. Well, one was a complete blowout. The other was a double-digit win. You lost by you lost by 14 to the Rams, and you only put up 3 points of offense. So really, did you accomplish anything with that decision to take those things out of your locker room? Not really, but congrats. So I'm not necessarily focused on that. I don't care what they choose to do in terms of taking things out of the locker room. Congratulations on taking those things out of the locker room. How does that solve the problem we find ourselves in?
On the handoff, this is Swift.
Come on, man.
And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39.
Nobody wants to tackle.
Only a gain of a yard, but that's all they needed.
The tackle.
Here's a handoff to Swift.
Because what did that accomplish? It didn't accomplish anything. It did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. They accomplished absolutely nothing. They took these they took these toys away like it was supposed to be a message that was going to be sent. What message did you send? You didn't send any message. You got beat the next 2 games. That wasn't the reason you were losing. The reason you were losing is because you weren't performing on the field. It has nothing to do with you playing video games or not playing video games. It has nothing to do with anything, man. So, again, I know everyone's been kind of locking into that one. I've been hearing even the media kind of get into that as of recently, talking about how the video game's been taken away, so maybe this will help them lock in. And it's just like, no, that wasn't the problem, and that's not the solution. The problem is they're not executing on the football field. Defensively, they can't make stops. They can't stop the run. They can't cover the pass. They can't get to the quarterback. They can't tackle. That is their problem. They were playing video games and ping pong in that locker room when they were able to do those things. So taking those things away isn't going to solve the problem. I would like a more constructive way to solve the problem. Shout out to Matthew with the $10 donation. I bet a few Ravens fans who think Harbaugh should get fired. A factor I see play into this is that the 49ers and Ravens are both beaten up, but the 49ers are 5-2 while the Ravens are 1-5. Thoughts? Okay, I mean, I've been one to be on the fire Harbaugh train as well, so I'm not going to pretend that I haven't called for Harbaugh's job. I have absolutely called for this man's job.
And they need 10 yards out of it on third. To throw, Williams.
Oh my God, they're going to call me for that. Oh, I'm going to get called for that. That was me. That was me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Crap! Illegal contact. Son of a... And just when we got an interception. I'm sorry. I clicked onto the wrong thing. There goes the interception. That's the first time I've ever made that type of... Oh, fumble! Oh my God. Can't get anything! Dog, this defense. No breaks.
Fumble on first down. Now here's second down.
No breaks.
Looking to throw. Williams. That's complete to DeAndre Swift out of the
But I'll get my thoughts about this. So, yeah, I'm one of many people that have called for Harbaugh's job, but my reason for calling for Harbaugh's job is not because of, look at what Kyle Shanahan's doing with the Niners with no Brock Purdy or no George Kittle, and then look at what Harbaugh and the others doing. I've had a multitude of reasons that span back to a plethora of time to look back at. So, for the most part, I have my specific reasons. But for those that are choosing to use that as an example, I don't think it's a bad example because, again, Kyle Shanahan has the 49ers operating like a competent football team. They look like a competent football team. They play like a competent football team. They operate like a competent football team. They were undermanned against their divisional rivals, the LA Rams, and they proceeded to beat them on Thursday Night Football. And here we go, the mighty Ravens with all this culture of being able to execute and be a well-run organization with a team that can play up to competition with or without their best players because we've seen them do that in the past. What do we get? 17-3. You're going up against the Houston Texans, a team that you have dominated historically. They've never beaten you in Baltimore, by the way. So they've never beaten you in Baltimore. You historically dominate them. And honestly, during the Lamar Jackson era, we've humiliated them. Then again, that's with Lamar Jackson on the field. So what ends up happening? You let them put up 40-plus points in your house and get their first ever win in your building. Congratulations. You did such a masterful job. So, people are watching Kyle Shanahan work with an offense that's missing their starting quarterback and missing a top 3 tight end in George Kittle. They're missing their starters, and Shanahan has them playing competent football and being able to compete with and win any one of these games. You're watching them win football games with Mac Jones as the quarterback, and Mac Jones has been set up to succeed, and he's been playing well within the Shanahan system. In fact, everybody has played well within the Shanahan system. So this isn't much of a surprise. Kyle Shanahan is a damn good coach. Shanahan is a damn good coach, and he always has his team in position to win, with or without his starters being out there. Because that is what a great coach looks like, and that is what a well-run team looks like. With the Baltimore Ravens, we cannot say the same. They do not look like a well-run team. They look like a team that is strictly leaning on their talent. And we've seen them strictly lean on their talent because they rely far too much on their quarterback. So we've seen this before. It's not a surprise.
3 quarters in the books.
And now, without that guy there, it gets worse. And you also come to find out that no matter how well he's doing, at the end of the day, if you can't do anything defensively, does it even matter?
Very fortunate to get another shot.
We were 1-3 with Lamar. But here's the thing that makes it very difficult to see. We were 1-3 with Lamar. So we were losing. But Lamar and the offense were averaging 32 points per game, near 32. So they were averaging nearly 32 points a game with Lamar in those 4 games. Defense was averaging giving up 35. When your offense is putting up 32 and your defense is putting up 35, that's how you lose football. And then you take Lamar out the equation, and guess what? You put up 13 points within the span of 2 games. So you're averaging damn near 33 points with Lamar, and you're averaging 6.5 points with Lamar. And then you still have this defense that is still poor. That's problematic. And again, part of that has to deal with coaching as well. Honestly, that article really showcased a lot about what's going on in that locker room. I feel like I feel like there has to be a lot that is said about that. And I might have to make a stream about that tomorrow. We'll actually look at that article. Because based off of what I'm seeing from that article, man, I am not convinced that they look at I am not convinced that they look at Zachary Orr like a defensive coordinator. Because they refuse to hold him accountable for anything. They do not hold him accountable for anything. It feels like Zachary Orr is more of one of the guys. He's a player. And you know, it kind of makes sense for that to ultimately be the case because he's very young. He is very young. Zachary Orr is younger than some of the players that are currently playing for Ravens because he's 33 years old. So, hold up. But yeah, I don't feel like they look at Zachary Orr like a defensive coordinator because they don't hold him accountable for anything, despite the fact that his defense is terrible. And they always seem to act like he's doing everything right and they're at fault. Meanwhile, we're hearing that there's a lot of complaints about what's happening with the play calling offensively. There are some players that are feeling that they're not being properly utilized within the offense. They don't like some of the play calling at the goal line. We're hearing all of these criticisms for Todd Monken, who had an offense that was top 3 when his quarterback was healthy. Yet a defense that's been giving up damn near 30, 35 points a game with their defensive coordinator, all of a sudden there's no qualms about Zachary Orr. He's having our pass rushers back up into coverage and cover tight ends. No problems. He has Marlon Humphrey lining up as a linebacker. No problems. So Zachary Orr making all these mistakes on the defensive side in terms of the play calling, no qualms. It's the players that got to execute the plays. But the issues offensively with the play calling or the issues offensively at the goal line, it's all Todd Monken. It has nothing to do with execution. Even though we're watching the offensive line fail to block. I don't understand this. It just feels like it's a group of people that really have no idea what they're doing right now. Their team is losing, and they want to protect the guys they want to protect and point the finger and deflect to anybody else. How is Todd Monken being thrown in the fire? When his starting quarterback was healthy, they were a top 3 offense. Yes, they had their issues here and there with play calling at the goal line. It has not been great this year. But it is a few things that you can point to where you can sit back and say the offense was the one responsible for this, especially when Lamar was in. They were averaging over 30 points a game with Lamar in, with Todd Monken's offense. Yet he's getting thrown to the fire. But Zachary Orr, his defense that's been giving up nearly 35 points a game, though I'm pretty sure it's gone down low because they gave up 17 against the Rams. So his defense is giving up nearly 30 points a game. Zachary Orr is not getting any criticism thrown at him. None of the players are holding him accountable. You don't see any complaints from the defensive players. All they're doing is protecting him. You got a head coach that's protecting him while throwing shade at his offensive coordinator, and then you got a group of players that are protecting him while also throwing shade at the offensive coordinator. I don't understand this. It just goes to show I don't think they view Zachary Orr as a defensive coordinator. They view him as one of the guys. And if they view him as one of the guys, they have no reason to throw one of their guys under the fire. Dude, Zachary Orr's 33 years old. We have a few players on the team right now that are older than our defensive coordinator. He's extremely young for a defensive coordinator. Kyle Van Noy's, 34 years old? He's playing right now on the team, and he's older than this defensive coordinator. Same for Brent Urban. Urban's 34. He's older than our defensive coordinator. We have an extremely young defensive coordinator. And this isn't just any old random defensive coordinator. This is a former player of this team. A guy that was a former All-Pro for this team. So he had played with the Ravens. He had success here. He had to retire because of a neck injury. Then he ends up on the coaching staff under Harbaugh, so you know that's one of his guys. And he's slowly working his way through until an empty spot is there because Mike McDonald says, I want to be a head coach. The Ravens said, we're not getting rid of John Harbaugh. He goes to Seattle, and now look at how Seattle's playing. They had they had a top 5 worst defense in the league. Mike McDonald goes there. They're what, top 10, top 5 defensively? He's turned that entire defense around. You let this guy you had the number 1 defense with this guy. The same year, 2023, when you went to the AFC Championship game, that is your defensive coordinator that helped you get the number 1 seed. That is your defensive coordinator that gave you the number 1 defense in the league when they led the league in sacks, led the league in turnovers, and they were the number 1 scoring defense in the league. The same defense that held Mahomes and the Chiefs to 17 points in the AFC Championship game, and your offense didn't show up. You watch that guy walk out the door instead of handing him the head coaching job. And now he's just changing worlds for Seattle right now. Seattle goes from a team that was about to fall off from irrelevancy to a team that can compete for a playoff spot. And they've got one of the best defenses in the league. You let that guy walk, and then you let this young guy who was still developing in your system because he was a linebackers coach, you let him take over as a defensive coordinator. And now that that's not working out, and now that you're seeing problems, nobody wants to hold him accountable. But your offensive coordinator, who since being here has generated the top 5 offense, he is now being the one held accountable for the few mistakes he's making. Even though execution has been a problem for the offense because the offensive line can't block. But Todd Monken should be held responsible for those mistakes. Yet Zachary Orr gets no blame for the defense giving up 40-plus points and getting humiliated on a weekly basis. That doesn't make sense to me. And getting this report that the players are more so throwing criticism towards the issues with the offense, but nobody's saying anything about the defense, it just goes to show that they themselves are willing to protect people that they view their guys, and they're not really focused on pointing out the main issues. All of a sudden, it's all on us. He's calling the right plays, we just have to execute. But then your offensive coordinator is not calling the right plays, and he's at fault for everything going wrong with the offense, even though he's missing his starting quarterback. I don't get how this whole thing is functioning. So it's just weird. It is very weird in how this whole situation's going. How one side, who was doing his job well, just made a few mistakes because no one's perfect. He's getting thrown to the fire. And then on the other side, you got a guy that's been doing nothing but making mistakes. In fact, he's been making so much mistakes, they kept bringing in coaches to come help him. How often do you see in the league that a defensive coordinator has to get so many assistant coaches to help him with this? We had to bring back Dean Pease, who was our former defensive coordinator. We brought back Chuck again, who was, again, another one of our former defensive coordinators. We've brought back so many former defensive coordinators just to help this guy do his job. And yet, it's still gone poor, and he's not being held accountable, and none of the players want to speak up and criticize him for anything. And you wonder why this team is 1-5. This is just dysfunction. This is a dysfunctional football team. And it's being led by the coaching staff that is causing this dysfunction. And they're allowing this to happen. So I'm glad they took away their toys in the locker room, I guess, their video games or whatever. But how did they respond? They lost to the Chiefs, got rid of all the distractions in the locker room, and then got beat worse by the Texans. So what did that solve? Nothing. And yet, they continue to act like everything's okay. They're right there. There's simple fixes here and there. I don't see the accountability showcasing itself here. And now, you may be getting your guy back. The expectations rise with him coming back to try to go on this run, and it still seems like it's the same team that we've seen all year. Again, I'm not of the belief that this defense is going to magically fix themselves overnight. They're one of the worst in the league. I don't think coming out of the bye week, they're going to turn into one of the best of the league. Maybe they improve, but I don't think anything's going to magically change. So, yes, they've called for Harbaugh's job because of all of this that's happening there. While you watch another head coach in Kyle Shanahan, his team's 5-2, and his team is missing their starting quarterback. They're missing their best tight end. They're missing a multitude of pieces. They're using their backup. Oh, you can go ahead. You'll be fine. They're using their backup quarterback, and they're winning big games. We're using our backup quarterback, and we can't even score 7 points a game. I mean, it's a difference of coaching here. It's a difference of culture. So that's why that example that you brought up, Matthew, it makes perfect sense as to why they're calling for his job, because Shanahan's making it work without his best guys. Meanwhile, Harbaugh can't make it work without some of his best guys, and they're getting humiliated. If they were at least looking competitive, fine, but they're getting humiliated in these games. So it is what it is. At this point, are we sure this team can win out, especially their last 6 games? At this point, we're not sure they can do anything. We cannot sit here and pretend that we have an idea of what the Ravens can do, because we have no clue. We can pretend that this team is going to magically turn things around. We can, but in all honesty, we don't know what's going to happen. We really don't. We do not know what's going to happen. We don't. We can hope for the best, but we have no clue what's going on.
Williams from the gun on 3rd down.
We have no clue what's going to happen. So all we can do is just sit here and hope for the best. If they fire Harbaugh, who do you want the Ravens to hire? I wouldn't be against Flores.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away.
I honestly wouldn't be against Flores. Brian Flores. I wouldn't be against Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings. The same guy that talked about Tua not being... When he was the former head coach of the how much? Hold on. Whoa. How much this boy got? Oh, my goodness. Wemby dropped 40. Wemby dropped 40 points. Wemby 40 and 15. He shot 15 of 21 from the field. He cooked these guys. But yeah, Brian Flores. I wouldn't mind if they went to hire Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings and the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins back when Tua was there, and Tua started crying and complaining that Brian Flores was being too harsh on him. Again, everyone keeps talking about Robert Saleh. That man has already said he's taking time off, and I know he's probably on somebody's radar. I think he's on somebody's coaching staff, but I don't think that man is ready to become a head coach anytime soon. After the whole debacle with the Jets, he's taking time off or something like that. It just seems like he's not looking to get into it. And again, I know Bill Belichick's name has been thrown around for a while. I don't know if Bill Belichick. I mean, again, I wouldn't like be mad at it. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't disagree with it. But I don't know if Bill Belichick is the one that they're really looking to go for. I think at this point, people are kind of looking for more of a younger coach at this point. Which, again, I wouldn't mind, you know. Yeah, I know where Robert Saleh is, but again, I'm talking about in terms of a head coaching role. After what happened with the Jets, I don't know if he really is interested, or at least you know, motivated to get back to being a head coach. Now in this situation, he'd be the head coach of the Ravens and get to have to coach up Lamar Jackson, and then coach up all those defensive pieces that you get to work with there. So maybe that would motivate him, and I wouldn't be mad at it. But I don't know if Robert Saleh is interested right now in getting back into coaching. Not coaching, getting back into being a head coach. He may want some time off of that after what happened before. Just being realistic here, you know. So maybe he may want to stay as a defensive coordinator and continue to work his way through, and then maybe he'll come back at some point. So who knows? But yeah, I'm looking more so towards Brian Flores. I think that I wouldn't mind if it was Brian Flores in all honesty. But in terms of, I mean, this would have to be in the off season, and they'll have to really look into it. But again, they're not firing Harbaugh. No one's falling for the gimmicks here. We know they're not firing John Harbaugh. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna fire John Harbaugh. And if Lamar comes back, which again he's practiced today, if he helps lead this team to the playoffs, I promise you, they're not gonna fire John Harbaugh because of that. Because look at what John Harbaugh did. They started 1-5, and then he turned the season around. He's one of the best coaches in the league. It's only been a select group of teams that started 1-5 and made the playoffs, and Harbaugh's done it with the Ravens. Why would they fire him after that? He hasn't missed the playoff. It's going to be all of that, and I know how it's going to work. So unless the Ravens miss the playoffs, ain't nothing going to change. But if Lamar is out there, chances to make the playoffs are high because the schedule does favor them. But then again, if this defense is just absolute dog water for the entire year, maybe you end up losing out. Maybe it ends up becoming a situation the same situation we saw with the Cincinnati Bengals, where they missed out by one game. So maybe you get a situation like that. I don't know. Yeah, they don't like to. Well, it's not about them not liking to fire coaches. They're not interested in firing Harbaugh. It's specifically a Harbaugh thing. They got rid of Brian Billick the second they could. They said Brian Billick was a problem towards the end of his time here. And honestly, Brian Billick got fired for doing the same thing that Harbaugh's doing right now. Think about that. Brian Billick got fired for some of the same things that Harbaugh gets to get away with now. So Harbaugh gets to get away with this because they love him. They love him. I think they don't just love him, they're in love with him. The Ravens are in love with John Harbaugh because they refuse to, by any means, he's so locked in to this franchise, they're not willing to let him go for anything. So no, John Harbaugh is not leaving in any facet. They are absolutely dead set on making sure Harbaugh stays until he's done coaching. So don't expect him to be fired. They're not doing it. Just get rid of your delusions. Harbaugh is here. He's not going anywhere. I'm ready. The Steelers are the only team in the Super Bowl since 1970 that has never fired a head coach. Yeah, I mean, they've never fired a head coach. Their coaches' contracts they either retire or their contract conveniently expires. There's a chance we can lose the winless Jets. There's a chance we can lose to anybody, dude. This team is not good. And until they become a competent football team, they can lose to anybody. And honestly, you lose to the Jets, the season ends right there. I don't care what they do for the rest of the year. The season ends if they lose to the Jets. We can just pack up the season after that. They're done. Harbaugh should run for office. He's a great politician. Yeah, based off of his resume in the NFL in terms of, I mean, if Ravens flock had anything to say about it, he wouldn't succeed as a politician. Not at all. It'd call him out on his BS.
The sack there by Roquan Smith. Here's 3rd and 10.
At this point, Ravens fans gotta hold a massive boycott until Steve gets involved. Steve's not firing Harbaugh. I mean, even if they don't show up to the game to try to ride for John Harbaugh to be fired, he's not fired. He has no reason to fire Harbaugh. Oh, no. Well, the Ravens have never lost to the Jets. The Ravens' defense has never been this bad. Their defense is on pace to giving up the most points in NFL history. So the Ravens' defense they've never been bad. And guess what, John? The Ravens never lost to the Texans at home until this year. The Texans have never beaten the Ravens in Baltimore until they came here this year and humiliated us. The Ravens also never lost to the Texans in the Lamar Jackson era, but there was no Lamar Jackson out there, so, you know. It is what it is. But, you know, that aspect to talk about, well, the Ravens have never lost to the Jets. You are absolutely right. The Texans never beat the Ravens in Baltimore until this year. So, you know, the team that's breaking records this year could always look to break a new record and become the first team in the franchise history to lose to the Jets. Anything can happen at this point. The Ravens have already shown that. So, it's cool that they've never lost to the Jets. It doesn't mean they can't lose to the Jets.
To throw, it's Williams.
Oh, okay. Why is it always Brandon? Oh, God. It's the same guy every single time. It's the same guy every single time.
Roma Dunze, 34 yards.
Oh, what? No way! Are you kidding me? That's not even funny. Why was he offside? Why? Why? I was literally switching to someone else.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you
I was literally trying to come off the edge.
Offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it.
And we missed them. But yeah, it's cool that the Ravens never lost to the Jets. It doesn't mean that they can't lose to the Jets. They can certainly lose to the Jets, and considering the fact that their defense has been historically bad this year, oh yeah, they can definitely lose to the Jets. They're not, you know, just magically good. They're not just like magically exempt from losing bad games or losing games they have no business losing. They can certainly
got to be at its wits' end, trying to come up with ways to keep him contained. He's had so many opportunities to tuck it and go, and he's turned a number of those opportunities into big plays.
You got to be ready, big dog.
Off the play fake, here's
Jackson.
Ah!
Never mind. But did Joe Flacco return to Baltimore again? Sure, when he retires.
The man that time to fight in and drop him.
He can do the whole, well, I'm retiring, this is it. He can sign a one-day contract with the Ravens and retire Ravens if he chooses to do so. Not sure he's going to do so, but, you know, that's always an option that's on the table.
His offensive line, they've got to figure it out and pick things up.
And the Eagles have never lost to the Jets until 2023. Streaks are meant to be broken. I mean, pretty much. Like, we can sit back and be like, well, they've never lost to this team. Yeah, I mean, that's cool and all, but that doesn't really mean anything in a great 2025. Games are happening all the time. If we just assume, well, this team's never beaten that team, so we might as well not play the game in the first place, then there'd be no point. But, you know, you can lose to anybody at any time, at any place, at any moment. You know, and that's why it's any given Sunday. So we can certainly lose the Jets.
Play action. Now Jackson.
Yeah, he's on the Bengals, and the Bengals do play the Ravens on Thanksgiving. So that should be a fun one, I guess. Can't wait to see Joe Flacco in Baltimore again. Did not expect to see him come back to Baltimore because we already saw him come to Baltimore once this year. But he's going to make 2 trips to Baltimore this year. That's fun. Oh, okay.
Well, that'll be incomplete. Well, he took a shot as he let that go. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
So it should be fun to see Flacco again in Baltimore. On Thanksgiving, no less. He'll be like, hey, good to see you again.
Yeah, he'll be out just a yard or 2 shy of the 30. So it's Raven football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they look.
Marlon Humphrey's ticking me off lately. He cannot read the room. Tired of seeing his social media posts. He's not a serious dude. Just doesn't get it. I'll never forget Lamar. Yeah, I'll never forget Lamar. Are you talking about that moment when Lamar was looking at him on the plane? It's like, bro, you shouldn't even be doing that, man. We're losing right now. That was good times. But again, I already stated this early on in the stream. I don't care what professional athletes are doing in their free time. I don't care if they want to be streamers or podcasters. I don't care if they want to have weird takes on Twitter. I honestly do not care what these athletes choose to do with their time. That has nothing to do with me. I personally do not care about what these athletes are doing in their free time. My only mindset about it is, if you're going to be doing these things, then you have to be performing on the field. I don't care what you do in your free time, but you better be showing up on the football field and playing. I don't know if Flacco is going to be the first quarterback to do that. I don't know. I don't keep track of those things. So You're free to look it up, but I don't know. These are just things, it's not common knowledge to know about these things. Maybe? I don't know. That have to be something we all have to look up, but I wouldn't know. Nah, they went for 2. I'll go for 2.
And open up the running lanes. And when he gets a little bit of a sliver, he's gone. And that's exactly what he did there.
All right, now a big 2-point conversion attempt still to come. Jackson to throw, out to his left. And he will get into the end zone. So the lead.
Pull off on them.
9 up to 11.
But yeah, overall, I mean, it's been a great break. We didn't have to talk about the Ravens. We didn't have to think about the Ravens. We didn't have to focus about the Ravens. Apparently, there was other news about the Ravens being active in the trade during the trade deadline. So they've been active in the trade aspects, or active during this trade period. I don't have any expectations on the Ravens getting a big name or some sort of game changer. They're gonna keep being cheap the way they always are. They're gonna get key aspects, try to, you know, tape up this defense or whatever. We have no pass rush, by the way. Just want to point that out. We are heading into this game against the Chicago Bears with no pass rush. So, good luck, I guess. No pass rush heading into this game with Chicago. So, I mean, I guess we're going to stop Caleb Williams by hoping the air stops him? Like, what are we going to do? Like, how do we plan to stop Caleb Williams if we can't get to him? Whatever. No pass rush still. Nothing is going to change in that aspect. And apparently they've been aggressive with their phone calls to try to get something going here, which again I'm not buying into. But hey, sure, I'm sure they're doing everything they can to bring us whoever they're going to bring us. I mean, didn't you see some of those guys that they brought in to try out? I'm sure those guys are going to work out. I mean, we're not going to get a game changer. It's the same story with the Ravens. That's why things ain't really going to change overall. But, you know, it is what it is, right? You know, same story every single time. You just deal with it however you deal with it. I would say something about the 49ers also don't have much of a pass rush right now, but that just circles back to a previous point. Yeah, they don't have much of a pass rush, and they're still finding ways. Oh, my God, that shouldn't have been. They're still finding ways. They're still finding ways to get it done. The turf monster will tackle the Bears offense. I mean, sure, somebody's gonna have to tackle. Caleb Williams, I guess, is gonna be the turf monster.
So the field goal means we're back to a one-score game, but with no timeouts left, I think this has to be an onside kick.
I like your analysis there, partner. I think you're right. You need the ball back. That's probably your only avenue.
And who's got it? I think the Ravens do. Yes. And they're going to win this football.
But anyway, guys, I think we're going to end it here. The good news is this is a pretty tame, pretty light therapy session. There's nothing really to work on therapy this week because, I mean, the team was on a bye week. It was actually pretty relaxing, pretty enjoyable. We didn't have to really worry about it. So, you know, that was great to see. Hopefully we get another one of those. I could really use another one of those breaks. But, you know, now that we're back from our bye week, get ready for the next 10 days. Not next 10 days. Get ready for the next week. Today is Thursday, right? Get ready for the next week. No, today's not Thursday. Today's Wednesday. Starting tomorrow, the next week is going to be nasty. Yeah, the rookie had a fantastic debut for the Sixers, and I believe they also beat the Celtics today. Also, Embiid looked terrible, so...
Escapes the sack. He's going to fire one.
Oh, it's caught. I was not. They're going to review that. They're going to have to review that. Oh, they don't review it. Oh, my God. I got to see this instant replay. Oh, my goodness. Let me see this. Let me see this. Let me see this. Look at 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 this. Look. 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 Get off me. Ah. Yeah, I think they beat him by 1. Oh, that was a spot. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And I wasn't even running. Look at that. Look at that. Let me just, excuse me, let me jog. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Get off me. Get off me. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Get off me. There you go. I'm going to throw a dot to Zay Flowers while taking a shot. Give me that TD. He broke LeBron's record for most points in the rookie debut. That's cool. That's cool. Glad to see that. I see the rookie so high. Rookie debut. It's great to see. Great to see. But yeah, Embiid looked terrible. It's the first game, but I don't know, man. Embiid.
Kick it away following the touchdown.
It's the first game of the season, so we'll see how he progresses. But I don't know, his body may be finally catching up to him. All those injuries and all those knee problems.
And they'll start this drive just across the 30.
We'll see, though.
Nice work on the return.
But that being said, guys, this has been the Week 7 therapy session. Not a lot to really speak on, but, you know, we had to do the therapy session. Great news for the Ravens. Great news for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson was back at practice. Since Lamar Jackson was back, it means that there is a high chance that he could play because Lamar does not need a lot of practice time in order to play. If he practices a little bit, he can still play. That's just what it comes down to. So that was some good news. Some other good news is you got Roquan Smith back. Your team is relatively healthy. Another great news. Emory Jones was activated onto the 53-man roster, so he's cleared. He's been practicing. He's good to go. I don't know if we're going to get to see him on the field, and if we do, I don't know where he's going to play. The expectation is he's going to be one of the guards, so either Voorhees or Falele, more likely Voorhees, is going to lose his spot, and Emory Jones will have an opportunity to showcase what he can do on the field. So that's another good thing. The team is healthy at the right time. The team is healthy at the right time, making the team's healthy at the right time. You get your quarterback back at the right time, and you have a favorable schedule. So with all that put together, you got a great chance to go do something, man. You got a real great chance to go do something. So ultimately, we'll just have to see how things go. We would ultimately have to see how things go. I did not realize. Wait a minute. Has my sound been on the entire time? Oh my God. Oh, because I had set this up. Are you telling me my sound has been on the entire time? My audio for the game, my gameplay audio has been on the entire time? Wow, I did not realize that was the case. I just checked this. I didn't realize that was the case. That wasn't supposed to be on. I was doing some tests to make sure the audio was good for me, but I did not realize that was on. Ooh. And it was doing that while the music's playing. Oh, yeah, YouTube's going to get on my case for that. I'm getting smoked tonight. Might as well head out after that because they definitely won't snipe this live stream for that. They hate when you play music on live streams. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this therapy session. What I think is the top 5 teams in the East and West. Western Conference, again, I'm looking towards, of course, the Thunder, the Rockets, the Nuggets. Those 3 are my good 3 again. Thunder, Rocket, Nuggets. The Warriors, when healthy, would probably be in that aspect. And then who would be 5th? Oh, Mavericks. So my 5 teams. If they can get Kyrie back, the Dallas Mavericks will be my 5 teams. Because I'm not really bought into LA. They have to show us something. They still can't play defense. So, yeah, for the West, I'm looking at it. I have the Western Conference. Thunder, Rockets, Nuggets, Warriors, Mavericks if they get Kyrie back. For the East, it's the Cavs. It's the Knicks. It will be the Mavericks. Not Mavericks. The Cavs, the Knicks. Cavs, Knicks. The Orlando Magic. Maybe the Celtics, if they can hold on without Tatum and if he potentially plays this year. The Pistons are another team I'm looking at. Hell, maybe even, and then between the Hawks and the Bucks. The Eastern Conference is so weird. It really just seems like the Cavs and Knicks and then everybody else downwards. But yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much it. The Bucks could be a surprise. The Eastern Conference stinks. So the Bucks wouldn't be a surprise. They have Giannis there. Giannis can carry them to the playoffs. It's just they're not going to be able to win in the postseason because it's just Giannis and nothing else. But I wouldn't. The Bucks wouldn't be a surprise when you have Giannis there. It's not a surprise, especially because when you're looking at it, some of the teams that are supposed to be ahead of the Bucks, they're missing their key star. The Celtics are missing Tatum. The Pacers are missing Halliburton. So it's just like injury galore going on here. So that's the case. And then you look all around. Trae Young's nice, but the Hawks as a whole are just not a great team. The Heat are just a playing team, and everything else past. I mean, like the Pistons and the Mavericks. The Pistons and the Magic are in it. Obviously, they're gonna be talked about. Obviously, especially the Orlando Magic, they're gonna be talked about. But really, it's just a two-man race right now between the Knicks and the Cavs, and whatever happens with that is ultimately going to determine who's probably gonna get to the finals. Which is why this is probably the best year for the Knicks to get to the finals if they can get over the hump, and we'll see how that goes overall. But yeah, this has been the therapy session, guys. This has been the Week 7 therapy session. Lamar Jackson is back, and the next 7 days are going to be very interesting because this next 7 days, we have 2 games. We play the Bears on Sunday. We play the Dolphins on Thursday. If Baltimore wins both those games, they go to 3-5, and they'll have 10 days off, and they can really try to push. If they lose any one of those games, honestly, get ready to pack up the season. You lose any one of those games, you can really look to pack the season up. 1-6, you just pack the season up. But 3-5 at least gives you a chance to get to 500. We'll have to see how things go. Anyway, guys, that is it for me for this therapy session. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Who's playing tomorrow? Let me see. I might do a Thursday night football stream just to mix things up. Tomorrow we have on Thursday night football. Oh, I can watch this maybe. I don't know if I want to watch Carson Wentz play. Vikings and Chargers could be interesting, but it's also going to be on Thursday night, so you know it's going to be trash. Let's see some of these games that are happening here. Dolphins, Falcons, garbage. Bears, Ravens, who the hell knows? Jets, Bengals, good God, that's trash. Bills, Panthers, that's weird. Niners, Texans could be an interesting one. Browns, Patriots, ugh. Giants, Eagles, that's going to be interesting, especially because of how Jackson Dart's going to be played. So that may be the best game to watch of the 1 p.m. games. Giants, Eagles might be the best 1 p.m. game to watch. Then you got the 4 p.m. games. Buccaneers, Saints, divisional rival, but Saints suck. Titans, Colts, it's a divisional rival, but the Titans suck. Cowboys, Broncos could be interesting. Cowboys, Broncos is going to be the most interesting game of the 4 p.m. game. And then we got Sunday Night Football with the Packers and Steelers. And then Monday Night Football with the Commanders and Chiefs, which doesn't mean anything now because there's no Jaden Daniels. We were going to watch Jaden Daniels versus Patrick Mahomes on Monday Night Football, and now we get Marcus Mariota. But just give the Chiefs their win, okay? Chiefs are going to win. They're going to beat the Commanders. We can move on from that. But Packers Steelers on Sunday Night Football is going to be fun. So I might do Thursday Night Football tomorrow, but we'll just have to wait and see. With that being said, guys, it is 12:40. I got to go to bed. So I will see you guys later. I was wondering what that notification was, but it don't matter. So, yeah. I'm going to turn this off. With that being said, guys, I will see you later. Good night. Take care. Be sure to stay safe. And peace out. I'll see you later, guys.